what's up? Are you all doing good? Actually, you all should be doing great as we are learning very good topics in our lesson, right? Yes. So, in the last video, we have started discussing about a new chapter, that is the local government of rural areas, nothing but Panchayati Raj. And we have also started discussing about a couple of topics related to it. What were they? We have discussed why is the local government required separately for the rural areas and the urban areas. As the problems faced by the people are different, solutions will also be different. And we have also seen that problems can be better understood by the local people living in that area, and they can give the best solutions also. Okay, than waiting for somebody to come from the central government or state government to solve. The people among themselves with the help of local government can solve it better and fast. Okay, then we have seen when was this practice actually existed from. It have been started from the ancient time only. Like we were discussing about the Mauryan Empire, right? Yes, so in the Mauryan Empire also the villagers had certain autonomy. According to that, villagers can solve their own issues. Yes. So after that, with the coming of the Britishers, this system have come to a decline. And after the independence, the Indian Constitution has given many amendments, according to which again it got a constitutional status, and all the states which is having population over 20 lakhs should be following this Panchayati Raj. And we have also seen why is this Panchayati Raj so important, what are the benefits. As we know, from the solving of the problem easily and quick, it also helps in training youth to become a better future leader. So they will be training, it will be kind of perfect training or practical training for them to participate and to know working of the democracy. And they will be learning to cooperate with each other. That means living along with the harmony, right? Students, now we have also discussed about the working, how does the Panchayati Raj works. So we have seen that it is divided again into three levels. Village level, that is village panchayat or the gram panchayat. Then again at the block level, that is panchayat samiti or block samiti. Now then we are having the district level, that is nothing but Zilla Parishad. So now in this lesson we will be seeing about each and everything in detail. Okay, so let's start with the lowest level, that is nothing but the village level. Okay, the government or the people managing or ruling over a place at the village level, we are calling that body as the village panchayat or the gram panchayat. Okay, so now again this gram panchayat is again having three main bodies like gram sabha. Then it has gram panchayat again, and it also has Nyaya Panchayat. So first let's discuss about the Gram Sabha. What is Gram Sabha actually? Gram Sabha is a meeting of all adults who live in the area covered by a panchayat. Okay, now when we are talking that it helps a meeting. Basically it's a meeting of all the adults. Now it can be, the area can be having one village or more than one village also. Okay, this could be only one village or few villages. In some states, meeting is held for each village. That means for one village separately, or in many states it also happens that 2-3 villages collectively they will be having one Gram Sabha meeting. Okay, now who are the members of the Gram Sabha? Everyone who is 18 years old and above and has the right to vote is a member of the Gram Sabha. So students, are you all members of the Gram Sabha? Can you all be the members? No, right? As you are not above 18, you cannot be the member of Gram Sabha. Okay, so the people who are above 18 and they had the right to vote can only be considered as the members of the Gram Sabha. Okay, so this is again divided into smaller areas. Now those smaller areas are called as wards, and from each ward people will be electing a representative, and he is called as ward member or the panch. Okay, now all Gram Sabha members also elect a sarpanch, and he is the panchayat president. So now as we are telling that they will be electing Sarpanch. So Sarpanch is also called as Panchayat President and also as Pradhan. So these are the terms which are used generally for Sarpanch. Okay. Now the ward Panch and Sarpanch form the Gram Panchayat. Okay. So as we already discussed that usually the Panchayat word means 5. The people of 5 elder that will be taking care and resolving the small issues happening in that area. Okay. So here is also the same thing which is happening. Okay. The ward Panch and the Sarpanch will form the Gram Panchayat. Okay. Now let's discuss about the Gram Panchayat. Now Gram Panchayat will also have a secretary. Now unlike the ward Panch and Sarpanch, they are not elected, they are appointed by the government. Now what is the difference between elected and appointed? Elected is nothing but after a completion of a process called election, that we will be casting our vote and whoever is having the majority of votes will be elected. And for the appointed, they have to undergo lot of process. They have to write exams. The one who will qualifies, then they will be appointed on that particular post. Okay. So the secretary is appointed by the government. So what is the responsibility of the secretary? Secretary is responsible for calling the meetings of the Gram Sabha and Gram Panchayat and keeping a record of the proceedings. That means whatever is happening in the Gram Panchayat or the Gram Sabha, he or she will be making a note of all the things and recording all the minutes. Okay. Now seats are reserved for people belonging to scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, that is SC and ST. Now why is it so done? To empower them, as we have already seen in our history lessons that there were many people who were belonging to Dalits and untouchables. They were not treated equally and they have been very much backward when compared to the members of other caste. So these are the few initiatives taken by the government to make sure that they are coming on par with the other people. Okay. So not only reservations for SC and ST, reservation is done for the women also. And we are very much familiar what was the status of women in the society. How well we were treated, right? Yes. So we were very much dominated, and to just get equal status, the government is making efforts. So in the Gram Panchayat, 1/3 of the seats have been reserved for the women. And in some states, up to 50% seats are reserved for the women. Okay, so these are the major things that we had to discuss about the Gram Sabha and Gram Panchayat. So there is a difference in basically the Gram Panchayat. What we are now discussing is about the Sarpanch or the ward members. It's a small committee, okay, of the elected people. And the village level Panchayat is also called as village Panchayat. Fine. Students, just now we have seen about the working or the composition of the Gram Panchayat and Gram Sabha. Who all are the members of Gram Sabha and the Gram Panchayat. Okay, now let's see an example given in the textbook so that we can understand the proceedings, what all happens in the Gram Sabha and Gram Panchayat. Okay, so here they have given an example of a village, that is Hardas village. Okay, and one very fine morning, all people are very excited as the day is very special. Now why is it so special? Because there is a Gram Panchayat meeting going to be held after the new Gram Panchayat is elected. Okay, after the elections, after all people have taken their positions in the office, this is the first meeting and they are very much excited and interested to know what are they going to do for the development of the village. Okay, so then when the meeting starts, the president of the Panchayat, nothing but the Sarpanch and the ward members, also called as Panch, okay, they have started the meeting and they have started discussing about the problems existing in the village. So first problem on the list was the repairing the roads. So in the same way later they have started. Now a person called Tija in that village has raised a problem that there is a water problem. All the wells and hand pumps in the villages have dried up. Okay, that means water is not at all, how much ever they are pumping, but the water is not at all coming. Because of that, women have to walk almost 3 kilometers to a river called Suru, and they are getting water from so long. Okay, now why is the water not available in the pump? Because the levels of groundwater is going on decreasing as the usage is getting more and it is not getting recharged again. Okay, that means whenever it rains, the ground is unable to absorb water. Okay, so they are now thinking what should be done. Now they are thinking to deepen the pumps more and more. So now suppose they have already have a pump which is dwelled at a height, or we can say depth of 1 kilometer. Then they want to like dwell it more. Okay, but is this the permanent solution? Asked one of the villager. Because every year the ground level, the water present in the ground is going lesser and lesser. The levels is decreasing. So every year we will be facing the problem. So one of the villager have suggested that they can get water from the nearby river. They can create an overhead tank and they can have taps to it so that everybody can use it. But again, it was told by the ward member that it is very expensive, that they cannot afford such a huge like whole process. Okay, now getting water from a river, they have to like lay a pipeline, then they have to build a overhead tank. It is all time consuming and expensive things, right? So in that way, now one of the member of the Gram Panchayat, that means we can say a villager called Anwar, was sharing an idea. Okay, that he have seen in a village in the Maharashtra when he went to visit one of his relative. He have seen that the Gram Panchayat there have started watershed development project so that the water problem can be solved there. So what are they doing in this watershed development project? So they are making many check dams, they are planting trees, they are making small wells and all, so that the water problem can be solved better. Okay, so we will see what is this watershed development project actually.
Watershed development is the treatment of the entire catchment area around the village to ensure conservation and regeneration of all its natural resources, especially water.
Watershed development must be done from a ridge to valley basis. Right from the top, you dig continuous contour trenches. As you come lower, on wastelands you dig continuous contour bunds. On farmlands, you erect farm bunds. Along the drainage line on the rivers, right from the top, you do gully plugs. As you come lower down, nulla bunds, gabion structures and check dams. The idea is to control soil erosion and to control the flow of gushing water. Water that is running, we try to make it walk. Walking water, we stop. Stopped water, we try to force it underground. The idea is to trap and harvest and store rainwater wherever it falls within the area itself. Since the speed of rainwater is controlled and the soil is not washed away, the rivers do not get flooded or silted. Thus, watershed development is an answer to two problems, that of drought and that of flooding.
Earlier efforts of watershed development concentrated merely on water harvesting structures and ignored treating the watershed as a whole. This led to soil erosion and therefore siltation of the structure. While there have been other schemes of poverty alleviation through environmental regeneration, this has been the first large-scale approach where people were not mere beneficiaries but actual owners and implementers of the project. They helped themselves by regenerating the environment they lived in.
So students, as we have seen that in the clipping about the watershed development project, in this they are making a bridge and small dams where the water can stand and as it stands, the flow of the water will get reduced and more chances of water to get penetrated or absorbed by the ground will be more, so that the water levels in the ground will be increasing, and in turn the area will not have much water problems. Okay, so this is something which will be funded by the government also. The government will be providing help if a villager is interested in doing such activity. Okay, so this was the first, sorry, it was the second thing discussed. So first thing was about the repairing the roads. Second one, facing to solve the water problem. Third is the BPL list, that is below poverty line list. Now what is below poverty line? Poverty line is the minimum income required by a family to have an adequate standard of living. Now that means they should eat qualitatively and quantitatively. Now quantitatively means a good quantity of the food which is required for the proper development of a person, and quality, that means good quality food. Okay, so there should not be any compromise in the quality and quantity also. So such people who are not able to afford such kind of standard of living, they fall into this below poverty line. Okay, now according to the government, the family or the people who are unable to spend in a day ₹32 in rural areas and 47 in urban areas will be falling under the below poverty line. Okay, now this was the topic, or this was the next agenda in the meeting of the Gram Sabha. Okay, now the one of the Gram Sabha member, or that is the Panch, or we can say one of the Panch, have started reading out the list, whatever the name of that particular village, the presidents of the village having their name in that list. Okay, so when they have started reading out, what the villagers have found out that there are many people who were having a good standard of living. Okay, even their name was included. For example, they have included the name. So one of the name was Natwar. He had recently bought a color TV and his son have sent a new motorcycle. So people in the Gram Sabha meeting, they have started discussing, whispering among themselves that how can he be in the list. Okay, so they were all thinking about this, how can they be, because he's earning much better, his son is earning, if they are able to afford a bicycle and a color TV, obviously they will not be in the below poverty line, right? Yes. So next was the Natwar. Even he is also of a sound background, he is not having any problem. Okay, even his name is there. So now again there was lot of whispering happening among the villagers. So now nobody had dare enough to stand up and tell that they don't deserve to be in the list, as they are having a good standard of living, and in turn they were having a doubt that why is not Om Prakash name in the list. Actually everybody was familiar with the condition of the Om Prakash, that he cannot afford, or whatever his daily needs are there, it is very hardly met. His name should be there. So seeing all the things happening, the Sarpanch, what he did, he have asked, do you all want to say something? Then one of the lady, she stood and she said that Om Prakash name should be in the list. He is very poor and he hardly can meet his ends meet. Okay, so and then he asked to the teacher who was responsible and allotted the work to collect the names of the people who will be under the below poverty line. So she answered that when she visited to Om Prakash house, it was locked. Maybe he has gone out in search of some work. Okay, so that is why his name is not in the list. So Sarpanch has given instruction to the teacher that make sure and verify everything that his name should be there into the list. Okay, so this was the proceeding which have happened that day. Now 3 things that were discussed is the repairing roads, solving the water problem, and next is the below poverty line. So in the below poverty line, we have seen that there are many people who are misusing their power. So that Birju and Natwar, as they were friends of the one of the ward member or the Panch, they were getting all these benefits which they did not deserve. Okay, so some or the other misuse will be happening, and instead there are many people who are being deprived, who actually deserve, who actually need such facilities provided by the government. Okay, so here Gram Sabha plays a very important role to tell the Gram Panchayat about its role, so that it should work properly and should be responsible. So Gram Sabha is again one of the place where all the plans of the work which should be done by the Gram Panchayat is placed in front of the people and discussed. Okay, and all these things should be approved by the members of the Gram Sabha. Okay, and Gram Sabha members also prevents them from doing wrong things like misusing their power and money. Okay, and making sure that they are working for the development of the village. It plays an important role in keeping an eye on the elected representatives and in making them responsible to the persons who have elected them. That means the people who are electing them, the representatives should be very much responsible towards them and not think of their personal benefits. Okay, so now these were the few functions that we have discussed about the Gram Panchayat. Okay, so there are many other functions. So as we were discussing in the earlier, there are three main parts of the Gram Panchayat or the village Panchayat. First is Gram Sabha, Gram Panchayat and the Nyaya Panchayat. Nyaya means again justice, right? So this Nyaya Panchayat is also called as village court. Now this village court, what does it deals with? It will be dealing with the small or the minor issues like thefts or some minor problems that exist. Okay, now what actions can it take on the people? It can just impose small fines. It does not have right to send anybody to the prison or to give any harsh punishment to them. Okay, so it can maximum extend only to imposing some fines. Only this is the work that has to be done by the Nyaya Panchayat. Now Nyaya Panchayat will not be separate for each and every village. So one Nyaya Panchayat will be handling or taking care of a couple of villages. It can be like 3-4 villages under one Nyaya Panchayat. Okay, so now what are the different functions that the Gram Panchayat have to do? That is village Panchayat. So maintenance of road, providing good education to the people, providing the provision of good drinking water by maintaining wells and tanks in the village, providing good education as we have just discussed, right? Yes, and also providing sanitation, good hospitals, medicines. So all these things will also come under the functions of the Gram Panchayat, and it also, one of its main function is to impose taxes and collection of the taxes. Okay, and also maintaining the records of births and deaths in the village, and making sure that it implements all the government schemes that are related for the development or generating employment opportunities for the people. So in one of the earlier lessons we have discussed, right? So what is the government doing for the empowering of SC, ST and the women? So we have seen what kind of employment issues they are solving through many schemes. Okay, so here also there are few things which are being done by them. Okay, now let's see about this Gram Panchayat and the functions of the Gram Panchayat once.
Panchayat. A village needs many facilities like schools, public lighting, clean surroundings and good transport for its people. The main purpose of a village Panchayat is to improve the conditions of the village and its people. Village Panchayat. The village Panchayat is an agency which looks after the needs of the villagers. The word Panchayat means a committee of 5 persons or elders. Members of a village Panchayat. The head of the Panchayat is called the Pradhan or Sarpanch. The members of the Panchayat are elected by the people of the village who are 18 years and above. The members of the village Panchayat elect the Pradhan of the village. Functions of a village Panchayat. The Panchayat settles petty disputes among the people.
The Gram Panchayat looks after the cleanliness of the village. It also takes care of the water supply to the village. It serves to maintain roads, streets and proper lighting in the village. It makes arrangements for the education of children and adults of the village. Functions of Gram Panchayat. The Gram Panchayat provides facilities for maintaining public health and hygiene and organizes health programs for its people. It also maintains law and order in the village. For performing all these functions, the Gram Panchayat receives funds from the state government.
We have seen that there are different functions that Gram Panchayat is supposed to carry out. Now, what do you think? Where will they get this money to do all the functions? What are the sources of income? So let's now discuss the sources of income through which they are able to carry out all their functions. So first main is the imposition of the taxes. Now on what are they imposing these taxes on? They are imposing it on the electricity, then water and some other things, and they also impose taxes on on the house, fairs or the markets which are held in the village. Now we usually see that there are many jatras or melas that will be established, or they will be organized in the villages. On such, taxes will be imposed, and those taxes can be used for the functioning or to provide better facilities in the village. Okay, so next is the grants that they are receiving from the government. So there are many schemes, and for every scheme the government will be sanctioning certain funds for and that they will be receiving through Janpad or the Jilla Parishad. And next is the donations what they get for the community works. So these were all the sources of income for the Gram Panchayat to carry on their work. Okay, so in this video we have seen a lot of things, the proceedings what happens generally in the villages. Okay, so we have seen three major problems being discussed: the road problem, water and the poverty line. Okay, so road, and they have fixed it, how they are going to do it, and water, they are in the process of thinking whether they are going to discuss about it further about the watershed development project, or they are just going to do some temporary things. That we will be seeing in the next video and discussing about the next levels of the government. Okay students, and I hope you are really understanding whatever I am trying to explain. And students, keep learning, be safe, be home. Bye bye students.